It's Carter Sports back, and today we finna talk about that clown Josh Pate and On3 and all this media hating on USC. So let's go. And if you been here before, can you please hit that like, please? And if you ain't subscribed, boy, you better subscribe.
Disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Trojan family, Trojan gang, fight on forever is in the building, you hear me? And I'm getting tired, right? I'm getting tired of the media, right? The media is in full swing, and it ain't just the media, it's fans around the world. USC, we really the most hated. USC, we really the last school people want to see win. If you ask college football fans, if they football team can't win the championship, who the last team they want to see win the championship? Who would they dislike the most winning the championship and put them on a lie detector test? USC gonna win by a landslide. And it's crazy because we ain't even been dominant since the Bush days. And they still got PTSD. Even those who didn't grow up in the time, they still got PTSD. The whole world still know that USC must stay down. The world still got USC at the top of their hate list. I don't care what nobody say, because they all unify across the board when it comes to the media and the players. On3, Josh Pate, whatever his name is, however we gonna pronounce it, right? That dude Josh Pate hate USC with a passion. Now Josh Pate is the typical SEC homer, right? The typical SEC Southern USC hater, right? Because they know USC at its prime run through the SEC. USC, when they been running peak condition, they always ran through the SEC, Big Ten, any other conference. They know that USC got the capability to run through their shit, right? Excuse my language, YouTube. But USC got the capability to run through their stuff, right? And take their shine, and take their attention, because it's LA. If USC by itself shift the whole spotlight off the whole SEC, and it will be on USC. Let USC be ranked number one. Let USC be one of the top teams in the nation, and they finna take all that attention that the SEC get, and it's gonna be on USC. Now USC been down a long time, and they done programmed a lot of people that hate USC, so people gonna be hating USC success, but the whole nation gonna be paying attention, and it's gonna take that spotlight. And guess what? All the stars gonna show up, the Rihannas, the Travis Scott, all of them. That sideline gonna be star-studded. The whole world is gonna pay attention, and the USC football program and the USC football star is damn near like an NFL team, so they don't want that. They don't want the attention to get took off the SEC. They don't want the attention to change, right? They hate USC, right? Josh Pate, I'll get to him in a second. First off, I hope On3 seen this video that Juju Lewis just did, and he had an interview, right? I hope On3 seen this video, because On3 swear that Juju Lewis, and if you look at the media sites and listen to what's be going on these media recruiting sites, you would think Juju Lewis ain't even committed to USC. And if Juju Lewis wasn't even committed to USC, I bet you these schools wouldn't even have USC in the top 3 to land a kid. They'll have probably Auburn or Alabama and Colorado, right? That's what they'll do. They wouldn't have Georgia in it no more because they didn't got them a quarterback, right? But check out this clip from Juju Lewis, and I hope On3 sees this and shut the hell up.
Recruiting analyst John Garcia Jr. here at Rivals Camp Atlanta with not only the #1 player in the state of Georgia, but the nation, Juju Lewis, quarterback, 5-star, USC commitment. Let's start there. You were back in LA recently. What's that updated relationship like with Lincoln Riley and company?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's great, going out there, just like experiencing LA and stuff like that. LA's a big city, and just trying to get ready to move out there in December has kind of been my biggest thing, trying to get comfortable with that location.
Yeah, what goes all into that? Is it touring the city? How much have you sat down with the actual decision makers at USC to really dig into like your specific path?
I mean, yeah, it's like recently it's been like touring the city, just seeing if I can get like a feel for like hanging out with the guys and just letting the social part kind of build into the whatever football is going to be. Because I mean, I got to move out there when I'm 17, so I want to be comfortable where I'm at.
Certainly. And look, colleges are trying to make you uncomfortable with USC as they try to get into this thing. Sticking with the teams out west, Colorado's had you on campus multiple times. What was that most recent trip like, and what is that buff angle?
Yeah, no, I love Colorado. I mean, I like it out there. It's a great little area. I spent a lot of time with Shador out there and just like talking to him about his whole journey and all that stuff. It's been great. Coach Prime's good people, all that stuff.
Does that kind of represent itself like uniquely to you, or do you group them all together? Like, hey, all of these guys are chasing USC.
I mean, I guess they're kind of all together. I mean, I'm locked in with USC still, but I mean, of course, people are going to talk, and Colorado talks a lot, and I like that, though.
Certainly understand that. And then back closer to home, obviously SEC programs are also in that grouping. Let's talk a little bit about Auburn. What was your last trip to the Plains like?
Oh, no, Auburn's great. I like the little area. Like, I'm not a very big town person.
Elsewhere in that state, over in Tuscaloosa, new coaching staff. We know the previous one was on.
Throw the ball at Washington, and
Georgia Bulldogs still in conversations with you. What are they saying most recently?
Shoot, I mean, same old. They just got the other quarterback commit, so I mean, they got their.
You've taken a bunch of trips, and now when we get into the summer months, what's the plan going forward?
Right now I'm setting up for OBs, and I got spring practice coming up, so just trying to focus on football has been my biggest thing. I want to shut it down before summertime so I can like focus and get ready for my last year. But like other than that, it's just getting ready for my OBs and spring.
Seems like we've covered you forever, but you did reclassify and skip a year.
Now, am I tripping, or this kid say he's preparing to move to LA in December? Am I tripping? He planned to move in LA in December so he could already be there and enroll early in spring. Am I tripping or not? And look how it is. Look how the denial is so strong. First of all, I like to say this. They must think Juju Lewis, all these recruiting sites and these fans, they must think he's the best quarterback. They must think he's program changing, right? Because even after he said all this, he moving to USC, he moving to LA in December. You can even read the comments to that video. It's still fans in there, Colorado. It's still fans in there that look at that video and still think, oh, he ain't going to SC. If I'm not mistaken, the kid basically said 2 times that he's going to LA and he need to move out there to get comfortable with the city. He been out there touring the city to get used to the vibe. They said, because he said he a small town kid and people know that and they wonder why he going to USC. That's all that they needed to hear. See, he ain't going to USC because he said he a small town kid. But didn't he just say 2 times that he's moving to LA? How many times has this kid said he's solid with USC? How many times this kid said he want the best development? How many times this kid said that quarterback development was #1 on his priority list. So if quarterback development is number one on his priority list, he's gonna go play for a cornerback over a quarterback. He gonna play for Deion Sanders over Lincoln Riley, and he wants the best quarterback development. Everything he say that points towards USC moving out there, the quarterback development, that don't mean nothing. They overlook all that. So, he said he's a small town kid. He visiting these schools. He visited Colorado 2 or 3 times. As a USC fan, you know how many kids already then visited our campus 3 times? Y'all follow Carter Sports. Y'all know the video I do. Half the video I do on players visiting USC is their 2nd or 3rd time. USC ain't had a first time visitor in a while. All these kids I be giving y'all on these recruiting visits coming to see, it's like they 2nd or 3rd time. So by that logic, every kid that visits us 3 times, right? We got them in a bag. That means we got Andrew Marsh in the bag, right? He'd have been to USC 5 times. But you won't see no recruiting expert sites say, he's a lock to USC. He's not even trending in USC, but he been there 5 times. But somebody will tell you, since Juju been in Colorado 3 times, that's where he going. And speaking of Andrew Marsh, this is the telltale signs for all telltale signs, right? You ain't gonna put too much stock on what a player say in the interview, right? He want to keep on his visits. He don't want to shit on nobody. So he gonna say positive things about all the top programs he visiting. That's why they the top program, right? So it might be a little player speak every university he gonna speak highly of. Yeah, I like USC, I like Colorado, because he do like all these schools. It's something to consider, right? But what tells you more than anything is what's being said behind the scenes. And I done heard Andrew Marsh and several other Georgia players. I think it was Isaiah Gibson. It's Jakeem Stewart. It's been like 3-4 players in the 25 class and in the 26 class, and they say Juju is pushing them to USC. I done heard 4 players say that. That's what they got to say about Juju. When they asked about Juju Lewis, every player say, he trying to get me to USC. Andrew Marsh was on campus. Him and Juju Lewis went off by themselves and was talking by themselves. And Andrew Marsh was like, Juju Lewis is pushing me to USC. Right? So why would a kid tell you he's preparing to move to LA in December? Why would a kid tell you he want the best quarterback development he could get? And everybody know that's Lincoln Riley. If y'all want to hate or not, y'all still can't say he ain't the best quarterback developer. Y'all just say he ain't got no defense. I mean, come on. Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts. We know he the best quarterback developer in the country, but y'all want to ignore that. Y'all want to ignore that over this kid being a kid, over this kid experiencing high school, experiencing recruiting, taking his visits, living his life, because he living his life and giving other people a chance to hear what they got to say. That means he's not going to USC. People don't check this kid priorities, man. But it ain't that they so believe that he's not going to USC. This is what they hope. People tell you what they hope and what they wants to believe. So when you wants to believe he's not going and coming to your school or going to the SEC, you're going to ignore all the things that says he's not. You're going to be in denial. And that just makes me excited, because it makes me feel like they must really feel like Juju Lewis is the one. Because why would people be so obsessed with saying he's going to flip or decommit and all the things he say about USC? I just don't get it, but I get it. It's that USC hate. They hate us so much. It's sickening. It's sickening. Then to Josh Pate. This dude basically said USC defense is like our offense. It'll never be good. This dude said USC defense gonna be trash again this year. And because it's Lincoln Riley as the coach, basically, USC and Lincoln Riley will never have a defense, even though he don't coach the defense. This man then ignored the hire of D'Anton Lynn, who took a horrible UCLA defense and made it top 10, right? number one against the run, right? And he basically saying DeAnton Lynn is gonna forget how to coach defense because Lincoln Riley is on the sideline with him. He said Eric Henderson is gonna forget how to get that dog work and gonna forget how to develop players because of Lincoln Riley is on the sideline. He's basically saying Matt Entz, the linebacker coach, a two-time national championship, is gonna forget how to coach. We hired the best coaching staff in the nation defensively with Doug Belk, Matt Entz, DeAnton Lynn, Eric Henderson, and he gonna have the nerves to say USC got the like 6 or 7 best defensive stats, improved defensive staff in the country. He put it at like 6 or 7. And we probably got the hottest DC it was last year. UCLA defense was in the hundreds before DeAnton Lynn came. And he put them all the way in the top 10. And Josh Pate is saying, because it's Lincoln Riley, it don't matter. DeAnton Lynn and these coaches gonna know how to coach. Well, Josh Pate, you full of shit, bro. You full of it. You the biggest USC hater on the internet with that what you dispute about the defense. And let me know, you didn't watch the spring game. Josh Pate, you don't watch. You just sit there and try to spin the narrative of hate. Your job is to keep the SEC on top and to keep that narrative going and to shoot down any other thing flying. So of course you're going to say that USC defense is trash because that's what you wanted to be in your heart. USC fans don't pay attention to that dude. He get a hard on for getting reaction out of you and we giving him views. That's another reason he do it. Watching Josh Pate, that's the last time I'm gonna watch this video. Cause all he here to do is could cause confusion all he here to do is to mental program everybody what he wants them to believe. USC defense is gonna suck and it's gonna always suck because Lincoln Riley there. And it don't even matter what coaches we get. He really said we got the 6 or 7 most improved defensive staff. And we hired DeAnton Lynn. Just like I said, a coach who took a defense out in the hundreds and made them top 10. We hired Eric Henderson, the best defensive line coach in the world because he was known as the best defensive line coach in the NFL. And then as a positional coach, we got a head coach and Matt Entz who won 2 national championships. Then we got Doug Belk who sent 4 players to the NFL out of Houston just in 5 years out the DB position, and we only number 6 improved defensive staff. You are a clown. You are a clown, bro. That dude is a clown. Don't watch that dude video. He gonna mess up your vibe, right? Put not interested in that channel when you see his feed come up, because you know why? Because he hate USC. And he's not gonna keep it real. He's not. So stop watching that dude and stop watching On3, because they on the same BS. I could give On3 one more chance. JD cool over there, right? But everybody else, the production, nah, if it ain't JD, don't watch it. Y'all feel what I'm saying? Because this is the mental programming that they doing. It's the same thing with ESPN, how they mental program you to think somebody's greater than they are, how they mental program you to down somebody else, right? Mental programming. That's what's at effect with these channels from the smallest to the highest level. Let me give y'all an example of mental programming. The casual fans, right? For instance, the NBA, right? If you watch First Take, every week they'll have a show in the topic about who's the greatest NBA player of all time, who's the top 10 NBA player of all time, right? That's what they do, right? But ask yourself, how in the hell every week the top 10 list gonna change all time? Whatever was the top 10 list, greatest players at the beginning of the season, It's the same in the middle of the season. You don't move up the all-time great chart during the season. You got to win a championship or put together multiple seasons to move up that all-time chart, that top 10 or the Mount Rushmore, right? Them spots ain't changing like that, but ESPN First Take will do that 100 times in the NBA season. Once a week, they at least do it, who the Mount Rushmore, the NBA, and who's the GOAT. When ain't nothing changed, when ain't nobody actually moved up that list. You can't move up that list in 10, 20, 30. And you know what I'm saying? It take multiple seasons to move up that list. ESPN do it to mental program you, right? They do it every week so you can hear that LeBron James is the GOAT, or he's second, or he on Mount Rushmore. They do the Mount Rushmore or who's the greatest NBA players of all times just to program it in your mind that LeBron James is. They do that every week just so the casual fan, just so you can hear them say, LeBron is the GOAT or he number 2. They don't ask that question because it's really some movement in the Mount Rushmore. It's really some movement in who's the greatest of all times. No, they bring up that subject just to say LeBron James' name to mental program you to think LeBron James is the GOAT or he number 2. That's what they do. It's called mental programming. If I tell you something like LeBron James is the GOAT, for 15 straight years, 10 years of campaign where every week I'm having topics just to say, LeBron is right here, and I'm mental programming you for 10 or 15 years, then eventually perception becomes reality. Eventually the casual fans is gonna believe that. For instance, I don't watch soccer like that, right? But if every time I turn on ESPN FC, they soccer channel, and they tell me Messi is the greatest soccer player, or Ronaldo, as a casual soccer fan, I'ma believe that if that's all I've been hearing the last 10, 15 years. But when I talk to an expert, he might tell me Ronaldo is or Messi is instead of Ronaldo, or vice versa. So the media picks players, teams, conferences that they gon' campaign whether it's the truth or not, and they gon' mentally program it in your brain so that perception become reality in a casual fan, in the casual mind, and a mind that can't think for itself, which is a lot of people when it comes to sports. You're gonna buy into it. Now it's a whole generation that think LeBron James is the GOAT because of ESPN, mental programming. Well, it's the same thing against USC, right? They mentally program you to think USC is trash and gonna be trash, so we can make USC State trash, right? Because they mental programming us to feel like the SEC is the best when it wasn't. Now the SEC has the most talent. Why? All the recruits go there because all the recruits grew up watching ESPN campaigning the SEC. When this SEC campaign started, they wasn't the best conference. It took years and years and years of campaigning saying the SEC is the best conference. Then guess what? Perception became reality, right? A kid who 11, 12, 13, 14 growing up, he's a casual sports fan. His knowledge ain't that high. Most of his knowledge is gonna be what he hear on TV. Now he can be able to watch some games and come to his own conclusion, but he's a kid. And his knowledge and his understanding of the game is going to be shaped by what the media is saying. So they made sure they lie and campaign every year in cahoots with the writers who do the preseason poll, who gave the SEC the birthright to have 8 teams, 7 teams automatically in the top 25 every year. No matter, I done seen SEC teams go 8-5 and start the season ranked the next year, and they didn't lost players, right? So that's what they do. They know they mentally program long enough, perception is going to become reality. So they're trying to keep USC down. Josh Pate know what he doing. He knows some high school recruits. They all in cahoots. So we all come together and be like, we don't think USC defense is going to be trash again. That's a narrative they trying to paint. They trying to dull the light of the Eric Henderson hire and of the D'Anton Lynn. Right? By focusing on, Lincoln Riley never had a great defense and he never will. They are doing that just so the high school recruits believe that and don't sign up and don't make a change. They're doing that to not make us look attractive as we really is. It's a smear campaign. It's hate. And if they say they ain't hating, they lying. At this point, it's obvious. Especially with Josh Pate. Boy, sit down. You was a clown. Right? And they gonna be quiet as hell. And if USC defense come out and ball and be improved and better, he gonna try to act like he never said that. And then just ignore it, period. Do like Josh Pate. If USC have a great defense and ball out this season, he gonna ignore USC. Because if he gotta say something good, he ain't gonna say something good unless he got a backhanded compliment to say about it, right? So USC fans, man, at this point, don't support none of it. And if you do watch it, get in the comments just to talk your stuff, right? Because these dudes is hating at another level. They hating at the even obvious, right? That's number one on their campaign. Keeping USC down is more important to them than anything. And it's sad, but it's cool. Because it gonna make it that much better when we start winning and win. It ain't nothing better than being a USC fan, because when we win, we gonna be able to smear it in the face of the whole world, because it's us C. It's USC, it's us C against everybody. We really against everybody. And when we win a championship, we gonna be able to put it in everybody's face, and they gonna hate it, and we gonna love it. And let's not give them no breaks. Whenever we break through and win this natty and be on top like we used to do, we finna stay on the social media. We finna stay on these boards, and we finna rub it in their face every day, all day. We ain't gonna let them breathe. We gonna make sure they know, as the USC haters, they gonna hate us for reals. You know what I'm saying? They already hate us. They gonna hate us even more, because we gonna stay in their mentions. We gonna stay talking our stuff. We gonna stay disrespecting them. I am. What about y'all? Because they disrespecting us, and the hate is just filthy. I respect greatness. I respect blue blood programs. I respect places with tradition. They don't respect us, and they don't want us, and they root against us. I don't even root against Notre Dame. I be wanting Notre Dame to be the greatest they can be and just lose to us, right? I don't hate on Notre Dame. I don't hate on UCLA. Right? I want them to be good. So if we beat them, that's better for us. You know what I'm talking about? They hate us. They want to keep us in the dumps. They enjoy us not being great more than they enjoy their own team or conference being great. You know what I'm saying? So until then, y'all, it's Carter Sports, man. It's USC. It's Trojan City. So let's go and F all these haters, man. We coming.